A proposed bill out of Albany known as Elder Parole is finding supporters and detractors here in our area. Jatira Marsh got opinions from those in support and those against. She joins us now in studio to share what they had to say. Jatira.
Adam, the Elder Parole legislation, if passed, will allow those who have been incarcerated for at least 15 years to be eligible for parole once they've turned 55 years old. Tiana Taylor, who's the co-director of policy and communications with the Release Aging People in Prison campaign, says this legislation for her is personal because her father has been incarcerated since she was 10.
Although he did commit a very serious crime, I know that my father, from the bottom of my heart, I know that my father is not just his crime, and he's done everything in his power to be the best father he can be while being incarcerated, but also his number one goal is to stop violence in our communities and to atone for the violence that he had committed.
Republican New York State Senator Pam Helming is against Elder Parole, and she says this legislation has just enough support to pass. She says she doesn't understand why her Democratic colleagues would sign a bill like this instead of something that supports the victims.
It's not a good thing for society, for our communities. What I'm hearing from people in Monroe County and throughout my entire district, they want increased public safety and security. They don't want more criminals who've committed these heinous crimes released onto the streets.
Thomas Gant is a community organizer for the Center of Community Alternatives. He disagrees and says he doesn't believe that if a person makes a bad decision, that they should be held accountable for it for the rest of their lives.
It's just overkill if we continue to keep people in prison. Most people in prison after they spend decades in prison. Now you're talking about health issues. You're talking about all these other different things that the state have to provide, which costs more money, which ultimately is going to cost taxpayers more money.
Ontario County Sheriff David Serencione says this bill, in his opinion, is a horribly egregious piece of legislation that is a slap in the face to victims.
When you think of convictions for murder, child abuse, rape, these are people that the amount of investigation it takes to even charge them and the evidence that has to be put forth to even make an arrest or have an indictment by a grand jury, then they're convicted in a court of law by either a jury of their own peers or a judge, which, by the way, is their choosing, the defendant's choosing, whether they have a judge or a jury. Then it's up to the judge to use guidelines to impose sentencing, and the judge, who's a lawyer and has a law degree, imposes that sentencing. And now we're at the point where we're going to go take a look at amending that just because somebody reaches the age of 55 and has served 15 years.
You can find links to both campaigns on our website at rochesterfirst.com. Back to you.
Jatira, thank you. Now, last month, the wife of Anthony Mazurkowicz, the Rochester police officer shot and killed in the line of duty, shared her concerns alongside the mom of Kaylee Ann Polton, the 4-year-old girl from Pittsford who was kidnapped and murdered in the 1990s. The Monroe County District Attorney released a list of those who would be impacted by this bill. Mazurkowicz's killer was on that list.